piriformis is a really important muscle within the glutes, within your buttock, because that's the one which stabilizes a lot of the lateral movement and the jumping. It's one of those muscles which people forget to look after. You take care of the bigger muscles within the glutes, but this is a really important deep muscle. It's actually quite tender when you actually put the sensory ball on it, and just feel for a little bony structure underneath your major part of your glute, and that's it. And you'll feel it once you've got there. It's a bit like a needle in a haystack. And just gently move the leg from inside to outside, and the body and the piriformis will really benefit from that particular release. It's important when you use a sensory ball for releasing the hamstring that you just locate the areas which are going to be tight. Like most people, up high where the hamstring inserts into the glute, that's always a great area to start, like I've just done there. And then just work your way down, because there's a number of big muscles within the hamstring which you can access by using the sensory ball. It's actually a really good use for the sensory ball. Big muscles such as the hamstring, right down to the base near the base of the knee. There's a lot of nerve fibers which sort of link into the hamstring and calf, and I'll really appreciate that. As I'm doing there, then you can roll through the whole hamstring from top to bottom and access the area on the outside of the hamstring to the inside of the hamstring. A really good release, and the sensory ball is perfect for the major muscle.
The middle region of the foot is a great place to release, as the sole of the foot can become very tense. So begin placing your foot on top of the sensory ball and begin pressing down in any areas that are tight, particularly from the front of the foot through to the arch and heel. Stay within the center of the foot and place even pressure down as you roll back and forth. Try to relax the toes. Stay on any areas that feel good to press into. For increased pressure, place as much weight as you can on the ball. Move the foot and ankle to experience the change in tension. The inner arch of our foot can often become tight. By using the sensory ball, we can access this area by pressing downwards onto it. Begin rolling from the heel to the toe and back again. You can do this in sections by pressing from the front section to a midsection and to the back section of the arch of the inner foot. Try moving in a circular or side-to-side motion. To guide the pressure, place your weight directly downwards onto the ball and notice the inner aspects of the foot. Our feet play a big role in the way we walk and stand day to day. A way of releasing the outer surface of our foot, begin to place the foot on top of the sensory ball. Gently press downwards along the lateral arch or the outer surface of the foot. Slightly evert the foot, that is pressing the sole of the foot outwards as you press down into any areas of tension. Try going from side to side, or control the amount of pressure by rolling the weight of the foot either inwards or slightly outwards. At the end, notice the outer part of your foot. The quadricep muscles are found in the front of the thigh. To release these areas, place the sensory ball directly on the front of the thigh. Begin to roll forward and backwards and allow the ball to roll along the entire length of the thigh. By moving side to side, you will feel the transverse fibers of the muscle, but bend the knee to increase the tension and stretch of the quadriceps. By internally and externally rotating the thigh, you will also be able to access different fibers of the quadricep. The outer quadricep, or vastus lateralis oblique muscle, is responsible for extension of the knee. Excessive tension in this outer quadricep can sometimes pull the patella laterally or outwards. This can also sometimes contribute to knee pain. Try this technique to release tension within this area. Place the sensory ball just above the knee and begin to roll along the length of the muscle. Try rolling around the ball, and for added effect, begin to flex and extend the knee. Take care not to pull the kneecap sideways with this massage technique. The perineals are located on the outer surface of the shin. They can often work very hard to stabilize our ankle joint. To find these muscles, begin to place the sensory ball underneath the outer shin. Press down on any areas of tension along the muscular aspects of the shin bone. Try oscillating from side to side as you move along the length of the shin. And at times, hold the pressure downwards in any areas to increase a stronger sensation. Remember, be mindful of the knee and use the arms to support the body where possible.
TFL, which is the shortened version of the tensor fasciae latae, that's the small muscle which basically joins your upper body to your lower body. It's a really important hip flexor. It's basically the crease of your pants, and that's what you can see there. And you just want to position the sensory ball so it's just sitting. It's a very small muscle, and you see it in sprinters and cyclists and jumpers and gymnastics. That's a muscle which almost looks like a bicep there. So you want to place the sensory ball there, and you get some wonderful release. It carries a lot of tension. It gets shortened a lot. So you want to lengthen that, and that's going to help actually get your body in the right sort of, alignment, and take a lot of stress off your lower back. Once you've found an area which starts to release, find another area. A great way to release through your hip flexors. The ITB, the iliotibial bands, that stretch of connective tissue right along the side of your thigh muscle, it's really an area which gets neglected, and it gets used a lot if you've done cycling or running or jumping or some heavy lifting. And I've probably demonstrated first a more advanced level there, where you actually lever off the foot and the hand and roll along the whole length of the ITB down the side of the leg, and that's quite intense. What a lot of people will probably like is finding the areas which are tight, and normally just above the kneecap is a really tight area of the ITB. Stay there for a while, let it release, let the muscle or let the ITB, that big chunk of connective tissue, just release over it, and you'll feel it melt into the sensory ball. Then just go up and down full length of the ITB like I'm doing here, and everyone's ITB is different in the sense of where the areas which are going to be tightest, and right up near the top of the hip can be really, really tight as well, and you just want to locate that and just stay on it and trust the fact, although it's intense, that the muscle and that actual connective tissue will release over the sensory ball.
The hip flexors can be located within the hip joint and slightly above towards the abdomen. Begin lying on your front and place the sensory ball directly onto the hip joint. Begin to move upwards and downwards slightly in order to feel any areas of tension from the hip bone or hip joint area towards the abdomen. It is important to stay on areas that feel muscular in tension. Start to roll the ball inwards towards the abdomen by rolling from side to side slightly, and relax the entire weight of the body over the sensory ball to release this area. The adductors are located on the inner aspects of the inner thigh. They can often accumulate tension, and here's a good way to release them. Place the sensory ball underneath the inner aspects of the legs and lay face downwards. Begin rolling from side to side slightly, feeling any areas of tension along the knee towards the hip and pelvic area. You will need to externally rotate the working leg or leg that is being massaged in order to access this region. Try moving the leg upwards and downwards to create a more transverse sensation along the fibers of the muscle.
The calf's a great muscle and it often doesn't get as much attention as it deserves because it works so hard in your day-to-day walking around, standing, jumping, running. It's a muscle which is really important in terms of stabilization, so it's one which should get a lot of attention when it comes to being triggered. And here I've just started at the back of the knee where there's a lot of neural fibers, and it sort of links into where the hamstring is and it attaches there. And what you do with the sensory ball is just place in those tight areas, and that's going to be very individual. So you start at the back of the knee, work into your mid-calf where you put basically your gastrocs, which are your big powerful muscles which help you jump. And then as I've just placed it there, that's the deeper muscle, which is the soleus, which is more of your stabilizer. And I can just pulse a little bit with my foot just to access a little bit more neural release through the calf muscle, because it does get a lot of work. And then you can even place it a little bit lower if you wanted to get into your Achilles. But just rolling up and down, that's another variation. Give your calves some love because they take a lot of work throughout a day-to-day basis.